My name is Monica, and my story is not one I ever imagined for myself. I grew up in Lithuania, in a family that carried its share of struggles. My father worked hard, but he also carried ideas and prejudices I never questioned as a child. When I was young, I often heard him speak in harsh tones about people different from us. Immigrants, Muslims, those who looked or prayed in another way. At the time, I didn't understand, but his words planted in me both confusion and curiosity. At 18, I moved to London, full of excitement and fear. London was like another planet compared to the small towns of my childhood. The streets buzzed with energy, colours and faces from all over the world. For the first time, I saw women wearing niqab and burqa. They seemed mysterious to me, hidden yet strong. I could not understand why anyone would cover themselves like that, but I could not stop looking either. Something in me stirred, though I didn't know what. Life moved quickly. I met the man who would become my husband. He was raised in Pakistan, shaped by traditions very different from mine. What struck me most about him was the way he treated people, kindly, with respect, with patience I was not used to seeing in men. He never pressured me to change my faith or identity, but his quiet example began to shift something inside me. His Islam was not just prayer or words. It was a way of living with dignity. When I first wore hijab, it was almost by accident. A friend encouraged me, and one morning I wrapped it around my head and looked in the mirror. It felt heavy, foreign, as if I was pretending to be someone I wasn't. That first day was full of stares. I imagined everyone was judging me. My father's old words echoed in my mind, and I wondered if I had made a mistake. But then I remembered how my husband always said, patience is half of faith. So I wore it again the next day, and the next. Slowly, I realized that every struggle in wearing it was also a step toward strength. Years passed, and hijab became part of me. What had once felt uncomfortable turned into a source of identity and pride. People began greeting me with salam, and I felt... One day in Ilford, while with my daughter, I came across a man doing street dawah. He greeted me warmly and asked if I knew about Islam. A little, I replied. He looked at me curiously and asked if I was Muslim. I shook my head. "But your daughter?" he asked. "Yes, she is," I said. "And your husband?" "He is too." The man looked puzzled. "So why not you?" That simple question pierced me. I had excuses: fear of my family's reaction, uncertainty about what it would mean. Yet deep inside, I had always believed in one God. Not complicated doctrines, but a pure creator. My daughter's eyes were on me, waiting. Suddenly, the hesitation that had lived in me for years dissolved. "Yes," I said, "I will take my shahada." On a busy street in Ilford, guided by a stranger and witnessed by my daughter, I declared my faith. Tears filled my eyes. For the first time in my life, I felt whole. I kept the moment to myself at first, a sacred secret, until later that evening when I told my husband. His eyes shone with joy. He had waited for this day without pressuring me, trusting Allah's plan. Afterward, I made a decision. I would not hide. I posted a photo holding the Quran on my Facebook story. It was a small action, but it felt monumental. Very soon, reactions poured in. Some congratulated me. Others expressed shock. The hardest came from my mother in Lithuania. She asked me directly, "Are you Muslim now?" I said yes. Her response was full of anger and hurt. She felt I had betrayed her, betrayed our family and culture. I told her, gently but firmly, "If you want to see me and your granddaughter, you must accept this part of me. Otherwise, you risk losing us." It was painful, but necessary. For weeks, the tension between us was unbearable. She accused me of being lost, of being manipulated. I reminded her, For you, it was acceptable when I went to parties, drank, and returned home at 4 in the morning. Now I choose peace, modesty, and responsibility. Why should this be worse? Slowly, she began to see that Islam had not destroyed me, but rebuilt me. My character changed. My patience grew. I am far from perfect, but every day I thank Allah for guiding me. The girl who once stared with confusion at women in niqab is now a woman who knows the sweetness of submission to one God. My story is not one of sudden change, but of slow awakening, of steps and stumbles that led me here. And when I think of the long journey, from Lithuania to London, from doubt to faith, from fear to peace, I can only whisper with all my heart, Alhamdulillah.